Hey everyone, this is Kevin from KLinvestmentstrategies. What I'd like to do today is to tell you a little bit about myself and our website. First of all, I'd like to tell you that we're not a big company and we don't manage other people's money like some large financial institutions. Personally, I'm 49 years old and I work primarily by myself with a little help from my son Chris, who's finishing up his last year in college. I just celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary with my wonderful wife on February 14th. And we also have one other son who is in his second year of college. About 2 years ago, I left my job after 20 years of working for a very large global company. I started learning about investing in the early 1980s. Believe it or not, it was on AOL when they first started. And they had a way to set up a practice portfolio, and from then on I was hooked. From the early 1980s until I started working for the large corporation, I played around with AOL's practice portfolio and learned a lot about investing. Starting in 1990, I took what I had learned, and from 1990 until 2010, I used that knowledge so that I could actively manage my 401k. At that time, I was putting in 6% of my salary because that was the maximum amount the company would match. Eventually, I started seeing gains of about 20 to 30% a year when most of the other employees' 401ks basically stayed flat or didn't have the large gains that I was seeing due to the typical ups and downs of the markets. I was able to do this by occasionally moving funds from more riskier assets into more safe funds when I anticipated the markets were poised to decline sharply, and then after they did, I began moving them back into the funds that were a little bit more risky but typically went up the fastest. A lot of us at work discussed our quarterly results, and when some of the other employees saw what I was doing, they started asking me for advice. Well, at that time, I was very hesitant to give them advice because I didn't want to be responsible for their results. But after a while, and letting them know that the final decision was really their own, I began letting some of them know in advance what I was planning on doing in my 401k. In 2010, I left my job due to some health issues. Fortunately, I had my 401k available when I needed it for emergency purposes. I immediately rolled it over into an IRA where not only was I able to use mutual funds but also to trade individual stocks. In the last 2 years, I've been trading stocks. Initially, they were more for the long-term investing, but eventually I got started into day trading. From there, I learned a little bit about trading options and played around with them for a little while, although I'm not an expert when it comes to trading options. My next thing that I did investing was I started trading what's called the E-minis, and wow, that has been an experience. I've been doing that for about 13 months now. Okay, that's a little bit about my investing experience. Here's what happened in the past 2 years. When my friends and family asked me what I was doing, I told them I was only doing investing and explained to them basically what I've told you so far. As they continued to ask questions, they told me I should start a consulting business, and that's where the idea came from for doing the website. I contacted a web developer and we worked on the site for about a year. My goal then, and still is only to coach people. I'm not looking to make a fortune from the membership fees. But now I have to tell you a little story. Recently I saw an ad on a large financial institution that said they had 8 million clients and something like $2.5 trillion in assets that they were managing. Then they went on to say that they provide a personal touch in how clients deserve one-on-one FaceTime. I don't know about you, but with 8 million clients, I don't believe their top priority is meeting with each client terribly often. Okay, enough about that. What I'd like to do now is to tell you a little bit about my work schedule. First of all, I'm a workaholic, and I am absolutely fixated about the markets. I begin my day around 6:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, watching the pre-markets and getting a gauge for that day's market environment. Sometimes I even start trading at 7 a.m. in the pre-market before it opens at 9:30 in the morning. I have one computer hooked up to 4 monitors and a large flat screen TV that I have CNBC on it all day long. So I typically watch and trade from 7 a.m. until about 1 p.m., where then I take about an hour break, and then I go at it again until about 6:30 p.m. The market closes at 4 p.m., so between 4 p.m. and 6:30 p.m., that's when I add information to the website, such as things like market recaps, the trade recaps where I took the trades during the day. I do reports on company earnings that came out. I do some things about news and lots of different things so that people kind of get a gist for what's happened throughout the day. So that's what I do Monday through Friday. Then there's Saturday and Sunday. Saturday I typically start about 7 o'clock and I usually go until about noon. I usually add articles and videos to the website. Some are very basic, but others, they can get quite technical. I think the most difficult day is Sunday. I work a little bit in the morning, but from early afternoon until about 7 p.m. I research hundreds of stocks looking for potential opportunities for the following week. 7 p.m. is usually my limit for Sundays, but the reason I work that late is because the futures markets open at 6 p.m. on Sunday evenings. Sometimes in the first 15 minutes I can gauge what my basic plan is going to be for the following week. You know why that is? Sometimes within the first 10 or 15 minutes you might see the Dow open up down 200 points. Well, if I see something like that, I'm surely not going to get up Monday morning and get on my computer and jump right into buying stocks. So Sunday night gives me a gauge for, what's going to happen Monday morning. And a lot of times in my articles, I'll put in the futures open down 200 points. So I'm going to wait until Monday to see what I'm going to do for the following week. So how does all this fit into the website? Personally, I like to do a lot of day trading. But if I get a lot of day traders, as members, they probably know as much, if not more, than I do. So what I'm looking to do is to take the information that I gather each day and to try and consolidate it so the average or beginning investor has a place to go and get what is really important. The next thing I'd like to tell you is that I'm not a stock analyst. I'm not a CEO of a large financial company. What I'm basically trying to do is to coach people and do a lot of the legwork for people that don't have time to spend as much time as I do watching the markets. I'm also not a tax advisor, and I'm also not a financial planner. I do, however, analyze stocks and give my opinions on hundreds of companies, although I would never tell someone you should buy any particular stock. The reason for this is because, each investor is different, and they need to make their own investment decisions based on their own circumstances and financial goals. Well, this kind of got a lot lengthier than I thought it would, so I wanted to let you know a little bit about me and what I'm all about. I'm going to be doing another video about our site so that you can look at what information is there and decide if we can help you become a better investor. So in closing, I'd like to invite all of you to visit our site. It's called KLinvestmentstrategies, all one word, .com. I hope to hear from you, and if you decide to become members, I'd like to join you to become part of our team. So take care, and I hope you enjoyed the video.